Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, ma'am. So, my name is Brian Patrick Inishan, and I will be your presenter for today. So, on behalf of Group 3, I'll be presenting the lesson of multiple intelligence theory by Howard Gardner. And the objectives will be is to describe what is multiple intelligence theory and apply the multiple intelligence theory and the lessons of the early childhood education. So we also need to articulate the importance of impact of the multiple intelligence theory to the early childhood education. So let me ask you this. What is intelligence? So for this one, the the explanation would mostly be that people generalize this by the meaning of intelligence, or as they refer to intellectual intelligence. However, for Mr. Howard Gardner, there are actually 8 types of intelligence. So let's go back to the meaning of intelligence, such as intelligence is the ability to think, to learn from experience, to solve problems, and to adapt to new situations. Intelligence is important because it has an impact on many human behaviors. So, Howard Gardner. So, first, let's go back to the one who actually made the theory himself, Mr. Howard Gardner. So, yes, this is Mr. Howard Gardner. And Mr. Howard Gardner, or Earl Howard Gardner, was born on July 11th, 1943, and was raised in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Howard Gardner is an American developmental psychologist. Gardner undertook most of his formal training and graduate work at Harvard University, where he earned a bachelor degree in social relations in 1965, and also a doctoral degree and a developmental psychology in 1971. So lastly, Gardner was the one who presented the lesson today, which is the multiple intelligence theory in 1983. So which consists of 8, as I mentioned today. So for this one, let's go one by one with what those 8 types of intelligence, okay? So what's more? At its core, it is the proposition that individuals have the potential to develop a combination of 8 separate intelligence or spheres of intelligence that is proposition grounded on Gardner's assertion that individual cognitive capacity cannot be represented adequately in a single measurement, such as an IQ. So basically, each person has 2 or more intelligence that they have developed or they can develop over the course of their life. So what are those multiple intelligence theory? The first one would be is the logical or mathematical intelligence. The second one is the verbal intelligence. The second one is the intrapersonal, and the other one is the interpersonal. And also there is what we call body or kinesthetic intelligence, then followed by musical intelligence. And another one is visual or spatial intelligence. And lastly, we have naturalistic intelligence. But first, let's go with the visual intelligence or logical visual intelligence. So, logical visual intelligence is the capacity to think through distinguished patterns and logically analyze the problem. So generally it's called the intellectual intelligence. So this is what we normally uh, say about intelligent, that they are logically intelligent people. So explain. So for this one, so basically, guys, this is what we generally, as I mentioned to you before, known as the intelligence or intellectual intelligence. So such as logic, or if you kanang bright kayo ka and sa exam, for example, written or mathematical exam. So if ever you want to uh, be with someone, you actually need to meet this type of person, such as the the one that has the logical visual intelligence. Okay, so the next one would be that verbal linguistic intelligence. So, what is verbal linguistic intelligence? The capacity to use language or to express oneself in one's native tongue and other language or understand people. Also, this type of intelligence is for those that are good at public speaking, oral recitation, and reporting, and such as this one, this guy right there. And so, this is the type of people is, for example, the speaker siya or dili siya kanang maayo sa exams, but however maayo kay siya sa kanang uh, communication. Or for another example of a person who talks a lot, so they have actually a verbal linguistic intelligence. They can speak to their minds, so such as this one, written exams, and also chattering with their friends, loved ones. And lastly would be, not lastly, I mean, so the next one would be is the intrapersonal intelligence. So what is intrapersonal intelligence? It is the capacity to reflect and be aware of one's own feeling through process. So how do we understand ourselves and why we are feeling that way? So such as that, and it is also how well we control our emotions and how we feel, how we think about that person, and how we feel to ourselves. So it is how we understand ourselves. So kanang ganing, and the meanings such as that. So what I mean is that kanang how well we control our emotions and how which we question our strengths and our weaknesses. The next one would be is the interpersonal intelligence. So it is the capacity to relate and interact with different types of people. So such as leadership, and we can also, the person who has this intelligence can coordinate properly with other people and good at motivating, encouraging others, just as the one that is your group leaders or such as public speakers. They have the capacity to encourage people and making them feel secure. And also, uh, because they have, which also kanang, and last, the second one would be is body kinesthetic intelligence. So what is body kinesthetic intelligence? So it is the capacity for one in carrying out different body movements, skills, and physical activities. People that are good at maneuvering their own body can make up objects skillfully, and such as dancing or sports. Yes, sports is a good example of this one because athletic people have this type of intelligence where they can actually maneuver their body part to do the things that they wanted to do, such as playing basketball, soccer, dancing, and this is how they can control their body parts properly. Yes. And then the next one would be is for musical intelligence. So what is musical intelligence? It is the capacity to think in terms of pattern, rhymes, and sounds. So basically, this refers to the skills in the performance of composition and the appreciation of the musical patterns. So, such as the type of people who has this type of intelligence is those who can make music, such as Beethoven, Billie Eilish, and Ed Sheeran has this type of intelligence. Yes, this is Beethoven, and Billie Eilish herself here, and lastly, Ed Sheeran. And visual spatial intelligence. What is that? It is a type of intelligence which is they have the capacity to visualize things and manage around themselves and can recognize and manipulate the pattern of the white space. So a person that perceive and analyze and understand visual information in the world around them. So such as engineers, even painters, or the one who can actually immediately try to go or to locate the maze from the starting point to the end point. So the type of person that has them is a visual or spatial intelligent person. So lastly would be the naturalistic intelligence. So it is the capacity to know about your nature, such as the forest, the sea, the ocean, or even at your house. So it involves expertise in the recognition of and classification of numerous species, or even the species such as dogs, we humans, and as well as the environment. So people that have the ability to identify and distinguish among different types of plant, animals, and weather formation in the natural setting, such as, yes, scientists, they have that type of intelligence, naturalistic intelligence to be perhaps exact, and plants are the type of people who can distinguish different kinds of plants and also the weather. So now let us focus with the by the way, this that's it for the multiple intelligence theory of Mr. Howard Gardner. And now let us focus with the car framework of action. So what is the car framework of action? The DAKAR framework of action is based on the most extensive evaluation of education that has ever undertaken, which is what we call education for all. So almost all of the uh, person has the ability to education. The commitment referred to in the title is that of pursuing a broad-based strategy for ensuring that the basic learning needs of every child and adult are met within the generation and sustained thereafter. So this action is for all of us that is not privileged enough, doesn't have the resources to go to school. For example, that those children who lives outside the streets, those people who may have house, however, cannot be able to uh, pay their school tuition, so that's the reason why they don't pursue in education because of the expenses that can affect them. So this is the car framework for action is just based on the education for all. So that's it. So thank you so much for listening to me today, and thank you so much, ma'am, and have a good day. Goodbye for now.